Oh, yes. If you like snow, you're in your glory. It is the 20th of January, 2014. Happy Martin Luther King Day to all of you. It is another edition of Weber This Week here on FingerLakes1.com. Good morning, everybody. It is a Monday morning, and as usual, it's 9:30. That means one thing. I'm going to host another show, and today we bring in some additional beauty to our show. We have a couple of fine young ladies from Waterloo, New York, and of course that's Amanda Webb and Chelsea Steinruck. And without further ado, ladies, first off, thank you for coming in and carving out some of your valuable off-day time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Speak up. Don't get shy. Come on, talk up. You know, I know you guys are a little bit nervous, but that's all right. First off, thanks for coming in, and you guys had a big tournament over the weekend.
Yeah.
You were down in where you guys? Where was the actual playing of the tournament?
Utica.
Utica.
It's at the senior high school.
Okay. Talk a little bit about the weekend and how things turned out. Why don't you start off, Amanda, then Chelsea can chime in.
Well, we were 1-1, and we lost to Troy by 9.
Okay.
And we beat CBA.
Okay. And now, before you came on to the coffee shop, Chelsea mentioned, that you guys were down big time in game number 1, and you guys rallied.
Yeah, we were down 37-21 at halftime. We came back and only lost by 9 against Troy.
Okay.
And then on Sunday, we won by 2 against CBA.
Well, I guess that's nice that you guys traveled to these tournaments, these holiday tournaments, whatever. It gives you another experience playing different teams. Is that what you took away from it, Amanda, as far as playing different schools?
Yeah, it was like Troy won states last year for
right.
Class A, so it gave us a little bit more competition.
Right. And, of course, as we should point out, Chelsea, the Waterloo Indian varsity girls team has one league loss, that, of course, at the hands of Pell Mac and that sensational Vanderwall. I might add, you guys have got a big game circled on your schedule, and that takes place, I believe, in sometime early February.
Yeah.
And I guess you can't wait to go to Pell Mac and play that one.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Well, listen, Amanda Webb, along with Chelsea Steinruck, our special guest this morning here on Weber This Week. And, of course, we'll be going back and forth, and we'll be checking on how they do in school, their favorite sports. We'll get them even to talk about Super Bowl. And even though they may not follow it greatly, now the two teams have been chosen, and they played their way in. And, of course, if you were looking at something from a statistical standpoint, this year is going to be the second time in the history of the Super Bowl where the two chalk teams, the two heavy favorites, are going to be in the big dance. It's only happened one other time, and I apologize, I didn't bring that data with me. It's only the second time that the two chalk favorites, the heavy favorite of the American Football Conference and the heavy favorite of the National Football Conference, will meet to decide it all. That, of course, a week from next Sunday. Denver advancing quite easily against New England. Keep in mind, Tom Brady looked like he was shell-shocked. He didn't have his game. Peyton Manning looked sensational. With all the neck surgeries, some people question whether or not he would play football again. Guess what, folks? It's almost like it's an omen that he's going to win this thing. But don't worry about it. Chelsea's favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks, are geared. And, of course, that was a great game. Kaepernick looked sensational for San Fran, but he gave up a couple of errant tosses at the end, that one in the end zone that sealed the fate for San Francisco. Seattle, in my mind, now they will take on Denver for all of the marbles. Again, Super Bowl Sunday, the 48th ritual of the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 48 at MetLife Stadium, outside, by the way, which, by the way, all the meteorologists and all the commentators are going to have a good time the next week and a half, because Chelsea and Amanda can appreciate this. What will the weather be like on February the 2nd when the game is played outdoors in the Northeast? I, of course, have always thought that was kind of cute. They made a choice to bring it to New York, and we all know why it's in New York. New York, there's no other city like this, New York City. And I know the game's literally physically in New Jersey, but for all intents and purposes, it's a New York City Super Bowl.
And Syracuse's home stadium.
Exactly.
He's playing in MetLife, where Dr. Gross has us playing a couple games a year.
Exactly. So it's going to be interesting. Everybody's going to worry now about the weather. What's the weather going to be like? Is it going to be 25 and rain or snow, flurries? Or will it be 6 above with wind chills 10 below? I was cracking up this morning while I was having breakfast before I came over to see Chelsea and Amanda. Now they're talking about a 20% chance of the temperatures being mid-20s, a 20% chance of snow. So who knows? We got a long way to go, but the NFL owners decided to bring this game to New York City several years ago, and they did it for Wellington Mara, the famed owner of the New York Giants, who did so much for the NFL. It was sort of like a gift to Wellington Mara to bring the game to MetLife Stadium in New York. Of course, hot dogs will be $20 a pop. Thank you very much. Coffee will be $16 for black coffee. Expenses, you talk about spending money. Now I understand the cheapest ticket you can get is $3,000. You're right. Give me 5 of those tickets. I mean, I like watching a Jimmy on a 54-inch TV, with friends of ours. We've had a Super Bowl party at our place for 30 years. The Brad Jones and Debbie come over, and Dennis and Donna Coggins, and BJ and Don Radford and Steve and Liz Beck have always come to our place, and we have a good time. And, oh, by the way, don't forget, get your name on these boards, even though they claim it's illegal. There's a million places that have them. Put your name on a board and donate some money, because you never know. You might have the winning combination. Jimmy, I don't know about you. I've never won one, so I'm not so sure my luck is ready to change in that regard.
I win once every 3 years.
All right. Well, maybe this is your lucky year.
It is. I didn't win the last 2.
Just keep in mind, folks, the line is right now, and, of course, these ladies on the couch may not realize what I'm talking about, the betting line in Las Vegas where it's legal to gamble. It came out this morning at 1 point, Denver favorite, up to 2.5. Depending on the sports palace that you visit in Vegas, they all differ. It's anywhere from 1 point to 2.5 point favorite by the Broncos. Keep in mind, the line will change probably in the next 2 weeks, obviously.
It'll change because of the weather.
Yes.
If it's a snowy, cold day, it's gonna favor Seattle. If it's a clear, warmer day, then it'll favor the Broncos.
And keep in mind, from a financial standpoint, I had a friend of mine out in Las Vegas when me and Mary were out there years ago that told me in a sports book how it works. Today, for example, Monday, obviously we're 3 hours ahead of Las Vegas time-wise, so it's 6:30 out there now. Depending on how much is bet every day, if, let's say, Denver is a 1 point favorite today, if $500,000 or more, $500,000 is the key. If $500,000 or more is bet on Denver versus Seattle today, that line would go up 0.5 point. If Seattle has $500,000 or more bet on them than Denver, it would drop 0.5 point. It's all based on $500,000, believe it or not. So let's see what the betting line does. But right now it's anywhere from 1 to 2.5. And without further ado, let's go to our ladies on the couch. Amanda, Seattle, Denver for all the marbles. Who do you like?
Well, I'm going to root for the Broncos, I guess.
Root for the Broncos. Well, Peyton Manning is a great story. The neck surgeries, the physical ailments that he's had. There was speculation he may never play football again, and now he's back for the biggest game of the year. And I kind of like to see him. I think maybe the football gods have him ticketed to win it. I hope. In a way, I like Seattle. I love their crowd at home. They have the greatest 12th man crowd in the world, or 12th lady crowd in the world. The 12th man, they call it, but all seriousness, that is the best home football stadium in the NFL. They scream from starting before the game all the way through the game. How about you, Chelsea? You were telling me you like Seattle.
I'd like Seattle to win, but my favorite team's the Steelers.
Okay, you like the Steelers, right?
But early in the season, I was rooting for Seattle to go all the way.
How come?
Just like Seattle, right?
Yeah, they were just doing really well also, so.
That's good. Chelsea Steinruck, Amanda Webb have joined us this morning on Weber This Week. A couple other bits of note. Let's talk about one who will stay on the topic of basketball. My friend Jeff Panic and Jimmy's friend Jeff Panic and Joe Spazzato and Mike Ferrara, who get involved in the boys basketball program at Waterloo. They've had a tough go of it this year, the boys at Waterloo. But hooray, hooray, they finally got their first W. And I know you're happy for the boys. They beat Midlakes 54-52. Darling was leading the score along with Ben Deming as well. And also Stenberg chipped in some points. So
Jonathan Jones buried a game winner, right?
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At the buzzer.
There you go. So congratulations. What do you think about that, Chelsea? A little plaudits for the boys?
Yeah, I was very happy for them when I heard it the next day before our tournament.
That's great. Amanda, you happy for the boys?
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Well, hey, they're a growing team. They're just having some tough luck. But you know what? Part of sports is you have these peaks and valleys.
They're young, dog. They're young. Ben Deming's going to be a really good player.
Yeah.
Lauren's brother, Ben.
Yep.
He's a sophomore. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, Lauren
Where's number 44?
Right. Lauren used to tell me he used to kick his butt one-on-one, but that has changed now that he's getting a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So. Well, listen, congratulations from Weber this week to Jeff Panic, the head coach of the Waterloo boys team, for posting your first W in the game this year. So that's impressive for the Waterloo boys. Always nice to get that first W. By the way, a couple of reflections. I was in Geneva the other night. I had a chance to go up and watch Izzy cheerlead. She's a sophomore in Geneva High. But, Jimmy, I had a chance to see Newark come into town, and what a basketball game that was. One word I put on a piece of paper to remind me, wow. What a packed house. Geneva jumped out early with Brian Miller, who you had on Upstate Podcast. He talked about coming down the show, Jim. Geneva had like a 12 or 13-point lead early on. Newark could not hit the broadside of a barn.
Until Phil Tech dunked it.
Bingo.
And that turned it all around.
And that turned it around, and Micah Wright led the way with Newark. The kid was phenomenal, and I love that Tyler Collins kid.
Collins was
I
the
love
difference
that
in
kid.
that game.
I'm gonna try to get him in there for a show because he really impressed me as a shooting guard. All of a sudden, the tables got turned. Geneva got cold, missed a ton of free throws. I would venture to say, if Brian Miller's checking us out today, that he'll have little free throw of like 1,000 for each of those kids today. I mean, it was amazing how many free throws. I don't have the exact stat, but they missed 1,000,000 free throws.
I talked to Kevin Korzneski, who was at that game, and he said it was a crazy atmosphere.
It was wild.
He says it was a whole lot of control. Everybody was really hyped up, both coaches, players, fans.
Oh, it was crazy. I mean, if you had a video on Brian, I love his coaching style, but when a call doesn't go his way, he's almost funny to watch. He reminds me of Lou Carnesecca. These girls wouldn't remember Lou Carnesecca, but Lou used to go jumping up and down the sidelines. And Brian puts his heart in the game, and he's a great coach. So a great, great game. Geneva loses to Newark, leading by 12-13 early, but the tables got turned, and Newark actually got revenge because Geneva had beaten Newark in Newark earlier in the year. So that was a great game. Speaking of great games, I got to just give you one caption, folks. Coming up Wednesday night, Finger Lakes 1 TV will be in Clyde, Savannah for, only got to tell you this once, Lions visits Clyde, Savannah. Do I need to say any more? A couple of arch rivals, Wayne County battles, they're going to be going at each other like you can't believe. Don't have a ticket? Don't even worry about going to the game because you're not going to get in. I understand it's a total sellout. They're up to the rafters right now. I think the only way you're going to get in there is if you remember the press. Thank you very much. Or you might be the ambulance crew that's going to watch for something to happen. But seriously, that will be a total sellout come Wednesday night. And don't worry about it. Sit home like this on a couch or on a chair on a couch like these girls are. Tune in, Finger Lakes 1 TV. Airtime around 7:30. Dave Barnick with the call, joined by Matt Verke, Jeremy Hunt, and, of course, Jimmy will be there, obviously, flipping the dials and switches. But what a great game, Jim, coming up this Wednesday night. It doesn't get any better than that.
Clyde's undefeated.
Oh, what a
Lions
game.
Just lost ER a couple days ago, so now they're 2 games back of Clyde.
Right.
But that doesn't really matter. It's the biggest rivalry in Wayne County.
It's by far. So it should be a good one. So check it out. Don't worry about going to try. If you don't have a ticket right now, I'm serious. Don't even waste your time driving over there because I don't think you got a chance in the world of getting in because I understand it was a sellout a couple of days ago. By the way, that should be a good one. And speaking of basketball, before we go back, talk to our young ladies here on Weber this week. Syracuse basketball. I'm not a big fan of the football program because of Marone, but I'm kind of getting warmed up for the basketball program. I think the key is when Pittsburgh took the lead against Syracuse with a few minutes to go at the Dome, I thought, you know what? This could be a good thing for Syracuse to lose a game once in a while. I hate the buildup of undefeated, but
I don't prescribe to that.
He does. But when you look at Syracuse and what they did against Pitt, you got Grant, you got Fair, Christmas, and Ennis. Why do I bring up those 4 names? Combined double digits, 51 of the 59 points. To me, that's what makes Syracuse very dangerous. They can get it from anybody. And by the way, the shooting guard there, what's the kid's name?
Trevor Cooney.
Yeah, he was off. I'm telling you, folks, that's what makes Syracuse dynamite. They get 4 people with double digits. And, you know, if it isn't Grant one night, It's fair.
Well, it was Ennis on Saturday that won, and he's a freshman.
Yep. Amazing.
And he's in front of 30,000 people playing against Pitt. Now, I don't want to lose that game. We were tied with Pitt in the ACC, top the ACC standings, 2 Big East teams. Now we're alone in first, Syracuse.
Right.
So I don't prescribe to losing a game to win a game. I think it'll be tough for anybody to beat Syracuse.
Okay.
Because they tend to know how to win the game in the last 5 minutes.
Oh, I agree. And again, I hope they run the tables and win the tournament and go on there. But it's just so much pressure building up on, I think, undefeated teams. I think, and Jim, you're right. They got a great program. I just think when you're 17-0, 18-0, 19-0, it kind of bears into people's minds. And sooner or later, I just think statistically, it probably isn't a bad thing if you have at least a loss before the tournament. We'll see what happens.
Do you ladies like Syracuse basketball?
You like Syracuse?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I bet you do.
Now, I heard, Chelsea, that you were going to a lot of girls' Syracuse women's basketball games.
Yep.
And you developed a relationship with one of the players. Is that true? Or?
Yeah, Juanita Ward.
Well, Juanita. So you guys are friends or hung out a little bit outside of the games?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Well, let's talk. We got Chelsea Steinruck and Amanda Webb joining us here in Weber this week. And Chelsea, let's talk about academics, your favorite subjects. And obviously, I'm assuming you're a good student. Mm-hmm. Your favorite subjects are?
English.
English?
Yep.
That's one. Any other ones?
Sometimes chemistry.
Chemistry. I can't spell the word chemistry. I'm impressed. Amanda, how about you?
Well, I'm in the New Visions medical program at Geneva, so that's pretty much my favorite.
Well, that's good.
What's that program all about?
You just basically, it's like at the hospital, and every day we go there for 2 hours, and like for the first hour we'll like learn stuff about like anatomy and whatever, and then we just like shadow, like for a week at a time. We shadow like the different doctors or nurses or whatever.
That's great. That's awesome. That is dynamite. Amanda Webb and Chelsea Steinruck, our special guests, bringing some beauty to the studios this morning. Well, we got to pay the bills, and let's find out who our great sponsors are. We'll be right back. Hugo Lake National Bank. Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora. A fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor, Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her great team will find that right spirit for you every time. Tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams, Wadhams Enterprises, your employer of choice. Proud supporter of this show and local athletics. Steve Muller Motors, smullermotors.com. Quality, affordable vehicles, both foreign and domestic. Bob and Leslie Oman, owners of the Oman Theater, in Lions as well as the Newark Pilots, a minor league baseball team with a major league ballpark. Lizard's Tailgater Lounge, Waterloo. Best mott sticks around, where you can enjoy a drink and some laughs. SenecaFallsCountryClub.com. Awesome 18-hole layout, offering a 12-month payment plan. Home of the toughest par 4 in central New York. That'd be number 16. Wilson Press, WPress.com. Seneca Falls, Rich Ricky, my good friend, and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Rich Ricky, Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week. Welcome back, everybody. It's a dog with you here on a Monday Weber This Week show on a snowy Monday, and the next couple of days going to be chilly, so we're talking wind chill factors about -5 or something on Tuesday and Wednesday. I think it's supposed to get to a high of 16 or 20 by the end of the week. So we got ourselves an old-fashioned winter, and it's just been brutal this year. Brings back memories when I was growing up and my daughter was growing up, and Jimmy, of course, and Samantha are about the same age, and we used to have some really bad winters. And it just reminds me of back in those days. It just seems like we get hit over the head week after week after week. So it is what it is. Deal with it. I talked to Chelsea and Amanda. They're not big on this stuff, are you? You don't like the snow, right?
Oh, no.
You'd rather like, oh, by the way, speaking of snow, all right. I don't know if you guys checked it out. I know obviously you follow sports channels. Okay, what sounds odd about what I'm about to tell you? Think about this now. Sochi, Russia, upcoming Winter Olympics on NBC, 2-man bobsled competition, Jamaica. Jamaica made it. Does that sound weird or what?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that again. Russia, starting in about 2 or 3 weeks. 2-man bobsled, snow, miserable, cold, lousy weather. Jamaica. Doesn't make sense. No, Jamaica made it. I mean, come on. And Jamaica admits they're not going to be a factor, but they got in the Olympics on a 2-man bobsled. That just cracks me up. I just find that amazing. But then again, my mind is weird anyways, but I think about things like that. Well, let's talk about you guys relative to Chelsea. You said you are a junior?
Yes.
Okay. And Amanda's a senior. And your goal, you talked about your involvement with the hospital. Your goal, obviously, is to continue that after you get out of school, after you get out of high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to go into physical therapy. So.
Oh, nice. Excellent. That's a very fast-growing field.
Yeah.
Now, Chelsea, certainly you're just a junior. Have you ambitions about, you mentioned you wanted to maybe do sportscasting. Do your goal to go into that sportscasting field after you get out of school, or do you want to do something else?
I want to major in communications when I go to college. So
do you have any idea where you might want to go, even though it's early? Have any thoughts?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, well, it's a long ways to go from there. You don't have to worry about it. You got plenty of time. All right, let's talk about your favorite sports teams. You talked about you're a Pittsburgh fan?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite NBA basketball player?
The Lakers.
The Lakers? Kobe?
Yeah, but he's out, so.
Yeah, I know. And how about you, Amanda? Who's your favorite player?
Kobe as well.
Kobe? Really? 2 Kobe fans. And they're just like, they're not going to be a factor, unfortunately, this year, you know.
What about Michael Carter-Williams?
Oh, yeah. He's doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm. You guys like LeBron James or no?
Oh,
No.
No?
No.
Why is that? Because he's too good?
No.
I just don't like him.
Really?
Yeah.
The best basketball player pound for pound in the NBA, and he backs up his stock, I mean, he's a physical specimen. It's amazing to me, So you don't like him because he's too good, or you just don't like the way he acts?
I don't like the way he acts.
Really? Interesting. Okay.
I'm with you.
I like
I'm not a big fan.
I like to give credit where credit is due. I mean, to me, I got to be honest with you, girls. I'm not a big fan of the regular season for the NBA because that's a joke. It really is a joke. Look at the Eastern Conference with the Knicks and the Brooklyn. They're in the playoff hunt. They lost 27 games and won like 11. I mean, give me a break. I mean, nobody cares about NBA regular season. 0. I don't know how they even get 4 viewers to watch it. It's about the playoffs. It's getting positioned to play for the championship at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. These regular season games, I got to be honest with you, I follow sports pretty closely. I don't think I've watched literally a minute of NBA regular season in 50 years. I just don't have any interest for it because NBA basketball to me is a up and down scenario where one team gets ahead by 20, Amanda, and the other team, you can bet on it, is going to come back to close it within 3. Mm-hmm. To me, it's almost like it's being fixed, but, whatever. So anyways, they both like Kobe and they both like Lakers. Well, that's very interesting, huh? So you don't even like the New York teams, like the Knicks or any of those, huh?
Oh, they're not bad, but...
Not like Kobe.
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right. That's pretty interesting. A couple of Eastern girls going for the Western. So again, folks, by the way, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about our upcoming guests, and also I want to send out, I'll do it right now. This has nothing to do with sports. A lot of my talk here has nothing to do with sports. You know that. But Nick Gillette, my good old friend Nick Gillette, the old piano player who's entertained thousands and thousands and thousands of people. He went to school a year after I got out. I believe Nick graduated in 1964. And I recall to this day having him play the piano and trying to sing. And myself and a lot of his friends back then, really, we didn't think he was a Paul McCartney. We didn't think he was a superstar back then. But you know what? I think about Nick Gillette. He's improved his craft over some 50 years. This guy has entertained so many people around the Finger Lakes. It's amazing. And I would like to just give Nick a shout out this morning on my show and saying, you did it, baby. You earned your right. He's going to move south now. He's sort of semi-retired. He's going to go south where it's not snowing in Florida today. And he's just going to do some more gigs. But I understand he had his last gig a week or two ago at the Elks Lodge here in Seneca Falls. And they said it was a great crowd. And the thing about Nick Gillette that I was always impressed by, and I know Jimmy's watched him play over the years, he gets people to dance and they really get interacted. So I just want to say congratulations to an outstanding 50-year career for Nick Gillette, who literally knows how to get a crowd engaged. And that's what it's all about when you get a band or somebody who performs to get the crowd engaged. It's nothing big if you're going to sit there and play the piano. Nobody wants to dance. But Nick has a knack of getting it done. So kudos to Nick Gillette, and we wish him the best of luck. Well, ladies, let's talk about a couple other topics. Now, certainly the Olympics. Are you guys big Olympic fans? You're going to be checking out the Winter Olympics or no?
No.
I might watch some of it.
Some of it?
Yeah.
You're more into the summer side of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. When you guys aren't in school or you're not doing whatever you do, what are your favorite things you like to do other than play basketball? Chelsea?
Just hang out with friends and watch TV.
Watch TV?
Watch sports, yeah.
Okay, how about you, Amanda? When you're not involved in any likes?
My dog.
My dog.
I have a German Shepherd.
Okay, you take your German Shepherd for walks?
I take her everywhere.
Oh, do it.
What's
okay.
her name?
Bella.
Bella.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Just a
Well,
puppy? How old?
She's like almost 2.
Okay.
But German Shepherd, a watchdog too, huh?
Yeah, she's very protective over me.
Oh, I bet she is. She doesn't bite, does she? If
She
you
hasn't really yet, but
If you say sick Bella, then okay, good. So, I work part-time at the Thruway. We see a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I saw a lady come through the other day to pay a toll, and I was waiting on her. I counted it. She had 12 little puppies in her
oh
car.
my gosh.
It was amazing. I'm glad we're not charging the tolls based on the number of dogs you have in a car. But so you guys talking about? Let's talk about your coach, Mike Bree. We don't give him a shout out this morning. He seems like he's done a nice job with your program. And talk a little bit about Coach Bree, Chelsea.
He helps us a lot. He stays dedicated with our team, and he is a hard worker like us. He
How
likes
about
to
you?
go out of his way and
That's
like
good.
recruit the teams and see how they're going to play us.
That's great. How about you, Amanda? Comments about Mike?
Yeah, he works really hard for us, and he does a lot for us. He'll stay up till like 2 a.m. just watching tape and writing down all the other teams' plays and stuff like that to help us out.
Stays up to 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go to bed every night at 9:30. Let's see, 10:30, 11:30, 12. That's like 5 hours while I'm sleeping. That's impressive. That's good. He's a nice guy, and he tries hard, and he certainly got some talent, obviously, with your team, and your team can take it as far as you want to take it based on some luck and based on some skill. But I think you guys are a reflection of the program. You're going to go out there and play as hard as you can. And you know what the beauty about sports is? Even though you lost 1 out of the 2 games in that tournament, it's not a big deal because you got your biggest games coming up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you do next time versus what you did before. Yep. And I think that win by the Waterloo boys, may not have them win 6 or 7 straight because they are young, but it's nice to break that bubble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, how much do you guys talk to each other on the team about state championship?
A lot, actually. We just always have to talk about how to get back there, and if we don't stay focused, then we might not make it back.
Yeah.
And Amanda, you're a senior, so last
Yeah.
year's was so close. Now this is your last chance, and Lauren and Lindsay are seniors,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So this is a good chance this year. So does Coach not want you to think about it or talk about it?
He basically uses it kind of as a motivator, like the way that we're playing right now. We're not going to get back there, so we need to work harder so that way we can get back. Because in the regular season, we only have a few games left, so it's almost over.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. And by the way, as I told you before, we're going to do 2-year games the rest of our broadcast schedule. I believe coming up on the 7th, Jimmy, of February, we have a doubleheader. Do the boys, the girls, then the boys.
Yeah, we got Minders girls at 6 against Waterloo. Or Minders girls, Waterloo girls at 6.
Yep.
And then Minders boys, Waterloo boys at 7:30, doubleheader. And that's a 3-man booth for that one. It's going to be Brendan Harrington, Kevin Korzneski, Matt Verkey on the call there. And then we come back for our final game of the year. The 11th, yeah.
I get a chance to do that one for your finale. I think the
Newark,
July
Waterloo.
season game. Newark comes into town, so I'll be having a chance to call that game for you.
They were a close one against Newark in Newark, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been hearing that they're not as good as they were in the past few years because they were pretty dominant.
Well, they had all those sisters.
And they still have one Mauer sister.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But
Oh my God.
but what was that game like the first time around?
Well, they every team's going to give their best shot to
Yeah.
play us, so
Sure.
they came out ready to play.
Well, you got to be ready to play because if you don't, you could get snake bitten. I mean, Jim talks about Syracuse. Certainly, they've had an outstanding run this year. And, as Jim says, he wants to keep winning, and I think that's right. But you look at college basketball, we have Arizona number 1 because you don't see them because they're out west. And you see a lot of Syracuse, obviously, because they're on TV every single game. But you look at the ACC, and it's a weird year. North Carolina and Duke are not that good like they have been. They have flaws. They have a lot of issues with their programs. And I never thought I'd see a day where Duke is like 23rd or 24th in the country. Usually they're in the top 7 or 8. So it's kind of a weird year. Carolina and Roy Williams, they're not that good. They got good athletes. They don't seem to mesh together. But again, it's the regular season, and then, of course, we all know it's the road to the Final Four. And that's a big differential. What you do in the regular season is outstanding, but when the clock strikes, whatever number, in the month of March, you want to be ready to play in the tournament because one and done.
Yeah.
So it's the same what you guys are facing. Well, listen, I just want to thank both of you for taking some time out. Do you want to say hello to anybody before we go off the air? Like, hi, Mom? You want to say that?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
All right, good. Well, listen, we appreciate you taking time out. We were always trying to get you guys to come in, and we finally worked out the date. And just a reminder before we go back to these ladies, upcoming shows, we have got a bevy of guests scheduled the next few weeks. I'm happy to report that next week, sports reporter, sports director, Finger Lakes Times, now he's the news editor, Alan Brigno, a mountain of information, will be on the couch next week. We're talking Super Bowl. We're talking Buffalo Bills, talking SU basketball. We're talking a multitude of topics with Alan, and he certainly brings a lot of strength and a lot of knowledge. He'll be here next week on the couch on the Weber Show. I'm excited about the following week, the day after Super Bowl, a young man who really needs no introduction. He writes an article for newspapers. He's in the paper. He has magazine articles. He's involved in putting on 31st Lap. I don't know if there's anybody that knows racing, the world of racing, like Chris Marquardt does. He's accepted an invitation to join me on the show. That'll be February 3rd, the Monday after Super Bowl. And I'm looking forward to talking to Chris because I want to get his opinion certainly on, is Danica Patrick really worthy of being a NASCAR driver? I can't wait to get that information from him. Chris Marquardt will join us on February 3rd. And it doesn't end there. The following week, we bring back another politician to get her views on a lot of things. And believe it or not, Jim knows we don't have to worry about getting her views. She'll tell us what she thinks. The controversial, the outspoken Cindy Lorenzetti, Seneca County Supervisor, who lays her heart on the table on all topics involving this county, which I personally like, by the way. She'll be here on the 10th of February, and we're booking more guests as time goes on. And again, this is an open invitation to you. If you would like to come in and talk to me and Jim, like the two girls have done this morning here from Waterloo, you're more than happy to be invited to join us on the couch. We can only allow 2 people at a time, as you know. The couch only holds 2. But we'd love to have you come in, talk about a charity event, talk about a sporting event. The door is open for you here at FingerLakes1.com along with Weber this week. We'd love to have you be a part of this show, and that's what we think makes it go. Well, ladies, thank you very much for carving out some time for us this morning. We wish you nothing but the best, and as they say, we'll see you down the road.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys did a good job. A little bit nervous early on, but you're kind of, now you're wide awake, ready to go. Thanks to Chelsea Steinruck and Amanda Webb for joining us. Again, you take care, everybody. You have a great week. Enjoy Martin Luther King Day. Until next week on Weber This Week, this is Weber This Week, my way.